Hello there, it's me Noorani Bartak and today I am going to tell you about Indian physical features. India is renowned for its diversity in everything. It has diverse physical features, climate characteristics, vegetation types, people and economy. Getting to the point, that's its location and physical features. India has its southern part as a peninsula. It is surrounded by Arabian Sea to the west, Bay of Bengal to the east and Indian Ocean to the south. India has a really long coastline along these bodies. Talking about the physical features, India has all types of landforms except for polar regions. Well, yeah, just missing. That's basic general knowledge. India is divided into 6 parts based on its relief. Northern mountains, northern plains, Great Indian Desert, peninsular plateau, coastal plains and island. Let's begin with the northern mountains. The northern mountains form a ginormous barrier along the Indian subcontinent, protecting it from incoming winds that could have caused adversity in climate. It's composed of 3 ranges, Karakoram, Ladakh and Himalayas. Among all the 3, Himalayas are the most prominent and effective. Himalayas originate from Kashmir in the north and end in Arunachal Pradesh in the east. The Himalayas are pretty young mountains and are further divided into 3 ranges, Himadri, Himachal and Shivalik. About the Himadri or Greater Himalayas. This is the highest and longest range of the 3. Its average altitude is 6,000 meters. This range has some really high peaks. This terrain is so hard to cross that several passes are created like Karakoram Pass, Shipkila, Zojila. Next up is Himachal or Middle Himalayas. This comes south to the Himadri with altitude varying from 1500 to 3500 meters. Several beautiful hill stations like Pahalgam, Gulmarg, Shimla are found in this range. The range of Himachal is very rough and made up of compressed rocks. Shivaliks, also known as Lesser Himalayas, with an average height of 900 to 1100 meters. Shivaliks are the outermost range of the Himalayas. Shivaliks aren't in a continuous chain. These merge with marshy foothills called Terai. Since they are still under formation, landslides are very common here. Longitudinal valleys known as duns lies between the Lesser Himalayas and Shivaliks. Example Dehradun, Kotli Dun, Patli Dun. Quick bite of a fact. Many rivers have their tributaries originating from Himalayas. Let's move on to the northern plains. The northern plains lie to the south of the Himalayas. These extend from Punjab in the west to Assam in the east. The northern plains are formed by 3 Himalayan rivers, Indus, Ganga and Brahmaputra. The plains cover almost the whole of Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal, Delhi, parts of Bihar and Assam. The plains are made of fine deposits by the rivers which is called alluvium. The deposits of alluvium make these plains very fertile. These lands are used for cultivation. Next in the queue is the peninsular plateau. As we know, the plateaus are elevations on the surface of the earth and are yet another landform. And as said before, India has almost all the landforms, therefore it's no exception. Indian plateaus are called peninsular plateaus because these are found in the peninsular part of the country. The peninsular plateaus are of 2 types, the Central Highlands and the Deccan Plateaus. Let's begin with the Central Highlands. These occupy the northern part of the peninsular plateau. It comprises the Malwa Plateau, Bundelkhand Plateau and the Chota Nagpur Plateau. The Aravalis, the Vindhyas, the Satputra also compose the Central Highlands. Let's move on to the Deccan Plateau. These are made up of both igneous and metamorphic rocks. As a crevice on the surface provides space from magma to reach the surface and form layers over layers, plateaus are formed. As known already, when exposed to extreme pressure and heat, igneous rocks transform into metamorphic rocks. That's how it can be concluded that plateaus are made up of both igneous and metamorphic rocks. Several chains of hills can be found along the edges of the Deccan Plateau. The central highlands at the Deccan Plateau are separated by Narmada and Tapi rivers. These plateaus are rich in minerals along several industries to establish themselves relying completely on the resources from the plateau. Who doesn't love coasts? Everyone would have if it weren't for its humidity and proneness to disasters. That's an entirely different topic. Let's not go there, but let's talk about India's coastal plains. Both to the east and west of the Peninsular Plateau are the coastal plains of India. As Western Ghats are quite close to the Arabian Sea, the western coastal plain is narrow with narrow cliffs and an intended coastline. It is broad only in Gujarat. No large river crosses this plain. The northern half of this plain is called the Konkan coast, while the southern half is known as the Malabar coast. It has beautiful backwaters and lagoons that Kerala is so famous for. Lagoons are formed when the sea water starts between land and sea because of sandbars. On the other hand, between the Eastern Ghats and the Bay of Bengal is a broad coastal plain known as the Eastern Coastal Plain. The plain is called the Coromandel Coast in the south, while in the north it is known as the Northern Circars. The plain is extremely fertile as it is drained by many large peninsular rivers that have been formed their deltas here. Most of the rice produced in the southern part of India comes from these deltas. It was real hot a few days back. It was unbearable, but it's a daily thing for the people of Thar Desert. The Thar Desert, also known as Rajasthan Desert or Great Indian Desert, is located in the west of the North Plain in Aravalli Hills. A little part of the Thar Desert lies in Pakistan as well. There is very little rainfall in the desert, therefore very few plants grow in the desert. The desert have many hills of sand called sand dunes. Due to shortage of water, the pollution is not so high. Luni is the only river in the region. The Indira Gandhi Canal takes water from Satluj River and gives it to the Thar Desert in the south. It ends up to run off Kutch. Towards the end, let's now talk about the islands. India has those too. Distant from the mainland, far off the coast, India has several clusters of islands in the adjacent water bodies. People there really seem to enjoy themselves with nature. One can still find tribal people living their simplistic life. These islands only compose 1% of India's total territory. Andaman and Nicobar Islands. These are a group of 572 similar islands, of which 38 have human population thriving. These islands are found in Bay of Bengal and are separated from each by the 10-degree channel. These all are formed by volcanic debris accumulated all this time. The only active volcano of the subcontinent lies on one of these islands. That island is called Barren Island. Lakshadweep Islands. These are another cluster of 43 islands in Arabian Sea. These islands aren't actually made of rocks but of solidified accumulated polyps. Ironically, people named it Lakshadweep, meaning 100 islands, because they thought there were 100 of them. Disappointingly, there weren't. That's all for today. Hope to catch you all soon.